Martin Popoff from the Contrarians here with a review of the new Alice Cooper album, The Revenge of Alice Cooper. Now, I'm just going to be completely, totally honest with you here about this. I'm going to do this review from the heart, meaning I'm not even going to talk about any of the songs. I haven't made any notes. It's all emotion here. It's all feelings that we're talking about here. So here's the deal. I know these guys. I love these guys. I've written these. This is the way you can get these now. These two books on Alice Cooper, split up between the two, the early years and the solo years. So here's the deal. Black Mamba came out, hated it, hate that song. Don't like the verses, can't stand that chorus. I was not happy with that song. Then, there was a really good review written, shared by a Facebook friend, and it was very detailed and it was scathing. He hated this album. I was not going to review this album. I was thinking, boy, I don't even want to hear this album after that review. Then I saw my good buddy Pete Pardo's review of it. And, you could tell he was just not particularly pleased with it either. That's the way I read it anyways. He's kind of looking for good things to say about it. So yeah, I was not crazy. I still had not heard the album yet. I have now heard the album and here's my feelings on this album. It's a sense of, what did you expect anyway? And what I mean by that is I had the same sort of feeling when I heard the Two Stooges reunions albums, right? So here we have Alice reunited with Neil Smith and Dennis Dunaway and Michael Bruce and Bob Ezrin. There's even a track with Glenn Buxton on it. A bunch of songs on it. The booklet looks really cool. Very cool. So here's the deal. I'm going through the tracks and realizing that what I'm listening to here is a very sort of canny combination of all the things that you would expect out of these guys as getting older. Now, number one, I don't mean that they're crappy and they can't write anymore. We know Dennis has been very prolific. Alice has been too. Alice's last album was not very well received, but the bunch before that, people really liked him a lot. So did I. And Bob Ezrin's involved as well, right? That's it. Let's talk about that for a second. This very scathing, well-written, long review that was shared to me on my Facebook page said the production was atrocious on this, right? Did not like the production. I don't think he used the word atrocious, but when I listen to this production, I hear somebody who is saying that I want to make this really old school and not warm, high fidelity old school, but I want to make it old school the same way I made the productions sound on the likes of $1 Billion Babies, Killer, and Love It to Death, really, which is not very good. I don't think those albums sound very good. They're kind of boxy, mid-rangey, humorless, not great low end, not great highs, kind of harsh, but still mid-rangey. And like I say, not a lot of bottom end. So I feel like Bob was going for something a little trashier here, right? And you do get that trashier, trapsier, little Albert Bouchard to tie a connection to Dennis there. So the rest of the record, I was listening to it and thinking, okay, so what this is a combination of is a whole pile of the vibe of old Alice Cooper, which is sort of like a vampy, connections to, you know how we did that Contrarians episode. The only thing to me that actually sounds like old Alice Cooper is the Black and White period Bluish Cult albums, because nobody's ever sounded like either of those two situations ever again. But yeah, there's, boy, would you say there's a little bit? I mean, Alice Cooper essentially was the main thing that you could ever pin on anybody to call there being a U.S. glam scene, right? So Alice Cooper, Lou Reed, New York Dolls, Kiss, but really it's Alice Cooper almost wholesale holding that whole thing up, and earlier than a lot of these situations too, right? So we're talking about a band that's really mostly operational 71, 72, 70 to up to 73, 74, but mainly you think of Killer, you think of School's Out 72 kind of thing, right? So very early band. So I think you're getting that out of it. And also, I think what you're getting out of this album, I'm listening to it and thinking, this is in the spirit of a Dictators album. This sounds like the Dictators crossed with old Alice Cooper, crossed with garage rock, crossed with Kiss. Okay, so Kiss from the first three albums, and maybe even Rock and Roll Over, actually. So you're getting some simplicity, you're getting some stupidity, you're getting a light sense of humor, but it's polite and pretty clean humor. But you're also getting, like I say, this sort of Dictators. The way the Dictators are like a pastiche of 60s girl groups, garage rock, punk rock, and heavy rock all mixed together. So you're really getting a Dictators vibe across this album more than anything. I definitely noted like a power chordy kind of well structured punk rock song sort of vibe from these songs. You're also getting a little bit of and this feels like a direct touchstone, like, hey, we gotta throw in a little swing and a little jazz and a little blues here and there as well. So you're getting a bit of that as well. I think there's only one ballad on the album. But so you're getting all that, and you're also getting the idea that this album is made by a bunch of guys in their 70s, right? So you're not getting we can't write anymore and we can't record, and if we wanted to, we could actually make a world-beating album. But if they made this world-beating album, it wouldn't sound like the old Alice Cooper band, and it doesn't sound like something 7-year-olds kind of make, unless you're Judas Priest, right? Judas Priest goes out and they try to make a world-beating album and they succeed at it, right? It's like I say, Judas Priest goes to the gym. That's what they sound like these days. This is not Alice Cooper going to the gym. It's not a Saxon album. It's not an Accept album. It's not a Metallica album. They really are trying to have lots and lots of old touchstones. Bob Ezrin's an old guy too, right? So you're getting that out of this band, that they're not doing something that would seem untowards by these guys. They're not trying to sound young, put it that way. Now, the other part of that, and it's just a subtle difference to that whole idea, is you are actually getting all of their influences as guys in their mid-70s. So that's why you're hearing this complex stew of 60s girl group, of garage. And there's like a bonus hidden old Spiders thing on, or yeah, the song Spiders, I guess, from the early days on here as well. Pete was playing this, I didn't even hear it. So you're getting all of their influences in there as well, and you're getting them definitely as they roll through these simple Kiss songs, essentially. As they roll through those songs, you're getting the idea that we are trying to sound like this early and very old sounding group. I mean, Alice Cooper in the early days sounded dated already. That's what I keep saying about these Bluish Occult black and white period albums, right? They sound dated for their time. They're not futuristic. They're not of their time. They're not ahead of their time. They sound like, those three albums sound like albums from 1970. And I would say all the Alice Cooper albums up until Muscle of Love. After that, when Alice goes solo, Welcome to My Nightmare, that does not sound old anymore. But every single damn one of those albums up to Muscle of Love sounds like it was recorded when Love It to Death was recorded. So that's my problem here. It's not a problem because I actually like this album, and I'm pleasantly surprised that I like this album. It seems more than Pete does, and definitely a lot more than a lot. A lot of the comments are saying they're disappointed with this album, and then there's that review I referred to off of Facebook. So I was not looking forward to hearing this album, but now that I hear it, it really is. And I'd be the first one to say, I often will say nothing about an album by a bunch of guys that I know, and I don't really want to say anything bad about. I mean, if you haven't seen me review a certain album, it's often because I really didn't like that album, right? And I have a bunch of friends who make records that I just will not review them, right? So I was not sure I was ever going to do a review of this album, but I'm playing it and I am quite liking this and feeling that if you're going to complain about it, it's because you want an Alice Cooper Goes to the Gym album. You want Invincible Shield at Alice Cooper, right? Um, Alice Cooper was kind of doing albums that were a little, Dirty Diamonds and that sort of period. Spider's Lullaby. I mean, they're pretty much Goes to the Gym Alice Cooper albums enough, right? I mean, he notches it back a little. All of his stuff is really, if you think of even the industrial period or even the slasher movie period, Raise Your Fist and Yell, Constrictor, or the Song Doctor period, Trash and Hey Stupid. They're all there's all a level of Alice Cooper Goes to the Gym about them. This album has none of that, and that's somewhat its charm. And so when people are complaining about this record, I think it's because it's not impressive on the face of it. But I think as I rolled through the tracks and pleasantly found myself not disliking them, not loving them to death either, because why would you? Well, okay, well, I'm not loving them to death for the same reason all these other fans aren't loving to death, but I think some of those fans aren't loving it to death is because they're younger and they do want a Goes to the Gym album. But I'm not loving them to death because these aren't songs that are designed to be particularly impressive. They're not flashy songs. So what I found helped me through this album, or framed it for me and allowed me to arrive at the fact that I like this album, is I kept thinking of it like a Dictators album. So that's the deal. I think of this very much as Alice Cooper making a Dictators album, or an early days Pre-Alive Kiss album, or it's almost like less impressive to me and less fun for me to think of them trying to make an album like their own old days. But I like thinking of this album as them trying to make an album like a Kiss album, or trying to make an album like a Dictators album. There you go. I'm going to stop my rambling now. This has been Martin Popoff for the Contrarians. MartinPopoff.com for all your book needs. Back here, like I say, I've got those 2 Alice Cooper books. Their timeline and quotes throughout. Lots of my own interview footage in there. And those are both still available. And check out my audio podcast as well, History in 5 Songs with Martin Popoff, and the Sabotage 50th anniversary episode that we just did as well. But there you go, Alice Cooper, a review of The Revenge of Alice Cooper.